Mga kababayan, ang kalihim ng Department of Science and Technology, magalang-galang Dr. Renato U. Solidum, Jr.
To the Bar Ministry of Trade, Investment and Tourism Minister, Parsarina A. Muhammad, Confederation of Wearable Exporters of the Philippines Executive Director, Ms. Marites Hocsan Agoncillo, Department of Foreign Affairs, EFA, Office of Cultural Diplomacy Acting Head, Ms. Arlene T. Magno, Dr. Julius L. Llano of the DFA, the Department of Fashion Affairs of the Department of Science and Technology, SUC presidents, our convention attendees from government, academe, our partners in the private sector, textile innovators and advocates, isang maagham na umaga sa ating lahat. If you know Hollywood, during Hollywood Awards nights, there is a question that always comes up on the red carpet. Who are you wearing? Who are you wearing? Mamaya, pag na-interview ako ng ating mga kasamahan sa media, I would honestly say this is a long story. Because I'm not just wearing a designer, I'm wearing a journey. The fabric, Philippine silk, reared by women, cherry farmers from Cagayan de Oro, was woven by ABI weavers from Misamis Oriental, dyed DYED at DOST PTRI in Taguig using coffee pulp. So PTRI has the literally dyeing industry as well, the natural dye industry. And this Philippine silk, woven by Abal weavers and dyed at PTRI, was carefully embroidered by Lumban, Laguna, skilled hands of our local artisans. So, if I keep going, para na akong nagbibigay ng direksyon sa waist, the journey of what I wear. And of course, for many of the dresses and the attires that you have, each have similar stories, but different origin, maybe different workers. When we wear Philippine tropical fabrics, we don't just wear clothes. We wear science and innovation rooted in tradition. We wear Filipino ingenuity and creativity. We wear communities. We wear livelihoods. And that is exactly why today, as we celebrate Philippine Tropical Fabrics or PTF Month, we celebrate not just what we wear, but who we are as Filipinos. We celebrate the PTF month every January. It is a celebration of our abundant natural textile sources in the Philippines and the ingenuity and creativity of the Filipino people in transforming these natural tropical fibers into yarns, fabrics, apparels, and many more. Philippine tropical fabric is also a strategy that seeks to catalyze the revival of the textile industry through government procurement or spending. PTF, however, must not be obscured as it's first and foremost a research and development feat covered by at least 2 Philippine patents. PTF is steadily making its way into public awareness. Its growing production has helped sustain local players while also catching the attention of potential investors. More than that, PTF is a true showcase of Filipino innovation, creativity, and strategic thinking. And it is our honor at the Department of Science and Technology, through the Philippine Textile Research Institute, to lead the nation in celebrating the Philippine Tropical Fabrics Month. In 2023, the PTF Month celebrations theme was pushing boundaries. which propelled the vision to make textiles as part of our day-to-day realities, beyond wearables. In 2024, the theme, Spinning Innovations, fittingly spawned solutions and opportunities that align, bind, and transform our efforts into a coherent strategic roadmap of revitalization. Last year, the theme, Weaving Circularity, celebrated the crucial and defining role of our shared commitment to fully interlace circularity in the textile and fashion industry, development, and revitalization. This year, our penultimate salvo before the 60th anniversary of DOST PTRI and the 5th year that we have aggressively championed TELACon, the theme, Stitching Futures, further extends the value chain for Philippine textiles and our journey from the textile fiber to yarn, to fabric, and finally to garments, wearable, footwear, and beyond. It builds on the grand tradition of Filipino sewing and embroidery and rekindles in our consciousness that there is no garment without stitches, and there is no garment without the skilled crafter who sews pieces into place. Stitching Futures calls on our textile stakeholders to act to preserve and nurture our textiles, garments, and process, including sewing through relevant and creative textile innovations through the lens of futures thinking. I recall the 2023 Philippine Textile Congress, wherein I expounded on the potential and emerging strategy of futures thinking, to dream up new possibilities and to take bolder actions toward multiple futures and allowing ourselves to be flexible, open, imaginative, pragmatic, and creative in the process. And now at this TELACon, the 2026 National Textile Convention, we must renew our commitment to stitch together our efforts into a solid and shared game plan, and of once and for all, ignite and signal the renewed vigor and vitality of the Philippine textile industry. The precise definition of stitch or tahi is the starting point to elaborate on the metaphor of this year's theme. Stitches are loops of thread or yarn, fundamental to the processes of sewing and embroidery. Each piece of clothing is built on, held together, and embellished by stitches. And we contemplate that each stitch, seemingly inconsequential on its own, is part of a bigger picture that assembles, protects, adorns, and clothes humanity. How is Stitching Futures relevant to us? First, stitches guide and hold pieces in their proper place. Known as basting stitches, these stitches guide the patterned pieces of fabric into their proper place. The skill of the tailor to properly orient the thread in such a manner that the fabrics form the shape of the final garment is perfected over years of experience, interacting with many clients and listening to the story of their lives, to the reason why this piece of clothing, garment is what they had in mind, and fitting the fabrics, color, texture into their unique individual body shape. The need for coherence, vision, and consistency has never been as urgent and timely. We bring together a broad assembly of partners and lead the conversation through science and innovation-led programs such as the Creatives, which stands for Creativity and Equity through accelerated textile technology engagement and entrepreneurship ventures for the vulnerable sectors and the acceleration for the Textile Academy. Through various stitches properly used for different applications, such as running stitches, back stitches, interlock stitches, and chain stitches, the tailor masterfully ensures that the seams hold true and fast, considering the unique pressure points and stresses experienced by each panel in the garment. CMS technology and innovation interventions must be tailored to our context, our relationships, and aspirations. The DOST PTRI's Frontier program ensures that the regional textile interventions are fit for purpose through continuous dialogue with stakeholders across the nation and enabling local textile ecosystems. Wala pong one-size-fits-all. We have to have fit-for-purpose innovation that must be engaged with the community. Innovation dialogues and the Philippine Textile Congress reach partners locally and internationally, as it allows us to keep abreast of the latest opportunities of each sector, thus allowing us to map ahead and dream up future scenarios in which Philippine textiles and garments are ahead. We must sustain textile innovation initiatives through constant dialogue and immediate follow-through actions. We find common ground between our diverse backgrounds as the finest display of transdisciplinarity, and we must work together towards inclusive solutions that benefit the largest number of people while protecting the nature. Second reason, stitches mend. We look at mending our industrial policies on textiles. The governance pillar includes policies that need revisiting and review. It also includes mending fiscal and non-fiscal incentives to stimulate private sector investments and government programs that absorb and dissipate upfront risks, skills, and an education framework like the Textile Academy that prepares those who will man this rebounding industry. All of these and more form part of several layers and several levers and strategies in our bid to revitalize the textile and allied sectors. The DOST PTRI Director has aptly defined this in his capstone at the Development Cabinet the Philippines as weaving and enabling the Philippine textile innovation ecosystem, the blueprint and appropriate perspective in revitalizing TELACon. Pasado po siya. So, importante po na malaman nyo na maganda po ang blueprint na kanyang ginawa. Hindi lang i-refer ko, kailangan kong bigyan ng pahalagahan. Kasi po ako ang isa sa committee member ni Director Lianyo. At kung pasada sa Development Academy of the Philippines, ibig sabihin, bias. Third reason, stitches embellish and enrich. Building on the rich embroidery traditions of the Philippines, such as the itnegs of Abra, the barongs of Lumban, Laguna, and Taal, Batangas, and the Ticoli of Lake Cebu, South Cotabato, the Hanunuo Mangyans of Mindoro, the Panbog in Capiz, include each stitch painstakingly transferred onto the canvas of the garment that creates vivid patterns that animate the vision of the embroiderer. Embroidery brings the garments to life through pictures painted with threads. Textiles and garments are testaments to the individuality of our creators and fashion designers, and we seek to bring them the latest science, technology, and innovation-led solutions through DOST PTRI. Innovations such as the digitalization program, Safatos, the Handloom Weaving Innovation Center, and the Textile Product Development and through textile advocacy platforms that showcase creativity, such as the Stitch Off Student Design Competition, the Kathabi Exhibits and Fashion Innovation, shows and international collaborations and exhibitions in the new Textiles PH Diplomacy Program. I'm also excited to share with you today that the Department of Science and Technology has just unveiled our three-pronged program, the Three Horizon Science, Technology, Innovation, Economic Strategy. This is science that goes beyond mere aspirations and towards becoming a potent driver of economic activity and development. If we talk about the horizon, this is what we see in front of us. If you're in front of Manila Bay, for example, or the Pacific Ocean, we can see the edge of the horizon further out. But in front of us would be the beach, and in between the beach and the furthest horizon would be the ocean. So in the beach, you can see directly what you can get what you can develop. Further out, maybe you still have a lot of uncertainties, but you can still have an idea what to do. And in between, these are also manageable resources that we can harvest and scale up. So in this three-horizon economic strategy, we will develop industries, and Philippine Tropical Fabric is part of it, that you can harvest right away, improve, and then build on the industries of the future. The first horizon is MSME transformation, essentially MSME productivity surge, where DOST will capacitate MSMEs with a target of 10,000 with the latest and most relevant technologies and innovations like artificial intelligence, robotics, automation, and many other smart technologies to upskill our workers. And we target 100 to 200,000 upskilled or new jobs which are of high quality, and increase the productivity of our engaged MSMEs by 25 to 30%. Essentially, we developed a smart factory concept, which was also done in Thailand, and they increased their productivity around 26 to 28%. I'm glad to know that the 2026 GAA includes one example of these interventions, the Mananahi ng Barangay program. Through this, we will work hand in hand with our barangay and community mananahi, or sewers and tailors, by providing structured human capacity building in digital design, pattern making, and production management systems, facilitating access to modern civil technologies and e-commerce platforms, and embedding them within localized supply chains. The second horizon is the commercialization of research and development outputs, and enabling businesses and industry partners to see investment opportunities in textile innovation. In general, one of the needed platforms in the Philippines is a testing and standards evaluation platform. Together with the Commission on Higher Education, DOST is setting up the FEED test, or the Philippines Technology Evaluation Standards Testing Facility, where universities, both public and private, can participate and test innovations of all kinds to improve their technology readiness and market readiness, so that potential investors will be able to evaluate if the risks that they have anticipated would have been de-risked by continuous testing and improvement. We will anchor this through multiple textile programs for the case of the Philippine Tropical Fabric. In our human security and defense needs, through the Combatex program, providing a steady market through the self-reliance defense posture, and Republic Act 9242, another captive market for Philippine Tropical Fabric government uniforms. In this case, we target 500 enterprises that we can scale up and be propelled from the Philippines globally. The third horizon would be building industries of the future. Last year, we launched the Elevate Philippines program, or 8 big programs that we think can further accelerate economic development of the country. First would be on artificial intelligence, quantum computing, analytics, Industry 4.0, smart agriculture, smart technologies like disaster and climate resilience or defense, biologics and pharmaceuticals, and most importantly, circular economy, which is very important for all of us. One of the problems that we have, as already intimated earlier, would be the plastics problem. Whenever we see plastics lying around, we just don't treat it as waste now. We can convert it into something or recycle, convert it to money or for profit. There are many other ways like the tela of used clothing or things that are thrown away during production of garments, or agricultural waste like pineapple leaves, or banana trunks. All of these can be converted to something, new products, where you can earn profit. Kaya po, isipin po natin na pag nakakita po tayo ng plastic o basura, ng tela, o mga banana trunk o leaves, pasensya na po, ang gusto ko sa inyo ay maging mukhang pera po kayong lahat. Ano po ibig sabihin ng mukhang pera? Pag nakikita nyo ng plastic, hindi plastic ang ating nakikita. Pera. Pag nakikita tayo ng tinapon na tela, ang nakikita natin, pinitasa lang na pampunas. Pera yan. Agriculture waste, pera. So baguhin po natin ang ating mga pananaw na ang mukhang pera ay masama. Maganda rin ang pananaw na maging mukhang pera through circular economy. So, in the third horizon, we will use these advanced technologies like AI, robotics, and digital technologies and other smart technologies. And these industries, and this horizon is a field ripe with potential. And DOST PTRI will promote various technologies through programs such as TELACon, which will accelerate capabilities for testing and quality control. So ladies and gentlemen, Stitching Futures responds to the Department of Science and Technology's call for an agham naramdam. Science that is felt. Science that transforms people's lives, communities, and industries. There is no more conspicuous mark and ambassador of a relatable and people-centered science for the Filipino people than the clothes you all wear every day. The work of DOST PTRI, the mainstream Philippine tropical fabrics, first in compliance with Republic Act 9242 for our government uniforms serving up to 2 million civil servants, and towards a growing awareness of the need to preserve both our material and cultural Philippine textile and garments heritage. And finally, towards a circular and sustainable textile industry plays a massive role to ensure that science, technology, and innovation reach as many of our kababayans. Crucial to all of these efforts is DOST's plan and ongoing transformation of its laboratories and testing facility to support MSMEs and the industry to come up with products that are up to standards not only in the Philippines but in countries you will export. And so we hope that through these efforts we can really see that we are merging science and business at this time in DOST. And we look forward to the many exchanges spanning a broad spectrum of topics and concerns, and in this particular occasion of Telang Pinoy, and through different and interesting lenses of our stakeholders. Encourage everyone to join the conversations here and beyond, because we all want to have longer and better quality of life. We want to have a wealthy life. We want to have safe lives and livelihood. But we want that our good life will endure across administrations while maintaining and preserving our environment. That is sustainability of our effort and sustainability of our environment. If we can do this, our dream na magkaroon po tayo ng maginhawa, matatag at panatag buhay ay magagawa. But this means that we really need to use science, technology, and innovation and employ our Bayanihan spirit of collaboration and discipline to achieve these noble goals. So, maraming po salamat and welcome to this year's TELACon, the 2026 National Textile Convention, and let us teach futures together.